Caribbean.
So yesterday was yet
slash
another
Gulf of Mexico
exhausting
slash
day,
Atlantic.
but awesome.
So now I've snorkeled in the Pacific and I've snorkeled in the Atlantic. It was quite the adventure though. So we go out and my mom goes in and she's having trouble with the snorkel and she gets some water in her mouth and she gets scared and she just wants to go back on the boat, which is fine. Totally fine. I was like, you went in and that's awesome. So I was like, Mom, it's cool. You went in, you saw some fish. That's awesome. Just being on the boat was kind of nice to see all the little specks of land. Beautiful. So then here's where my adventure goes a little crazy. So I go back in with another woman who wants to go in, but she is definitely a stronger swimmer than me. And so I'm trying to keep up with her because she's my buddy and I don't want to get lost in the ocean. But I started to get the feeling that we're the only people in the water. And I look up and I see everyone's on the boat and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think we're supposed to go back. I lose my snorkel, so I'm trying to get my snorkel back in my mouth so I can get back in the water, right? I get my buddy's attention and I'm like, I think we're supposed to go back to the boat. So she's like, okay, let's go. I'm like, okay, just give me a second and get my snorkel back in. So I do, and we're swimming, but she's like swimming super fast. And I'm like, I cannot swim that fast. Oh my gosh. So I start to freak out because she's getting so far ahead of me, right? And I look up and I see how far the boat is away and I start like psyching myself in my mind because it seems so far away. She's so far ahead of me and I'm not strong enough. And I start like getting all in my head, right? Then I lose my snorkel and I'm like, oh, I need to get my snorkel back in. Because I swam a little bit more and came back up, lost the snorkel. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm tired and I'm going to make it. Which is not true. I knew I was going to make it. I knew if I stayed calm and I just swam, I just kept pushing myself, I'd get there, right? But like at this point, I'm getting all worked up in my head. I'm like, no, I need help. Ask for help. So tell her, no, I really need help to get back. I was like, but I don't see the guys, and like we need to get their attention, right? And so I'm treading water and I'm staying calm and keeping my mouth mostly closed because like at this point the water's like splashing against my face, which freaks me out like every time. So anyway, I'm like, okay, just stay calm, don't swallow water, it's fine, you know how to swim, it's okay. Eventually we get their attention, he jumps in, I'm like, okay, I saw him jump in, it's fine, he's coming, I'm gonna be fine. And then he helped me back. So then it was fine, but right back was a lot of fun. We were like blowing the conch shell and whoa, I was actually pretty good at it. I told my mom that I must be better at it than I thought because that's how I blow my nose. Anyway, I was talking to this kid who was really good at blowing the conch shell too, and at the very end he was like, hey, do you know who it was who needed help at the very end coming back to the boat, who got tired and needed help? And I was like, I think that was me. And he's like, oh, sorry. And I'm like, no, I'm not embarrassed because I used to be really afraid of the water and I get in now and I get out and it's fine. And I ask for help when I need it and it's okay.